Good morning everyone, myself Archit, and today we are going to discuss the more about the genetics unit. In last section we discussed about how Mendel concluded its experiments over the Pisum sativum, and so today we discuss about law of dominance. So basically the law of dominance depends over the monohybrid cross. We already discussed about what are alleles, genes, homozygous, heterozygous, and today we are going to discuss about the law of dominance. So here is the first one. Characters are controlled by a discrete unit called factors. So in the experiment done by the Mendel, he concluded that what's the thing behind the which moves from one generation to another. That one is he concluded that one is unit which is known as factors. At that time, the name gene, gene, is not discovered. He given that gene as a factors. As we know that like height, color, these are just moves from one generation to another in the form of factors. Okay. Second one postulates is factors occur in pair. So as we know that in the experiment, first one monohybrid cross, capital T, small t. So these in allelic pair, we know that these factors are always in pairs. Like in this one, this is case of homozygous case. Homozygous condition, it is both are capital letters. But in heterozygous, we see that capital T and small t, this is also heterozygous condition. But the main thing behind this, these factors which moves from one generation to another are in the pairs. Like we see these two pairs. Two pairs, one that capital T, and here the next one pair, capital T and small t. What's the third one? In a dissimilar pair of factor, one member of dominates over the other one and other one is recessive. Go through this one, dissimilar pair. The dissimilar pair, here is the dissimilar one, it means differ. In this condition, it is differ. So basically, dissimilar pair, we talk about heterozygous condition. So in this condition, capital T and small t. Okay, so here's the one. We move for a little experiment. So first one, if you consider this is a pure breed, capital T and small t having a plant, P plant having a tall, and here's the second one pair, small t and small t, it means dwarf condition. So these are the parental pure breed. So let's cross them. If you cross these two, then what will happen? The new allelic form is developed is capital T and small t. It is in the heterozygous condition. So what we show here, capital T for tallness and small t for dwarfness. So what's the law of dominance concludes? That only a pair is dominate over the other one. So here's in the case capital T dominates over the small t. It means tallness dominates over the dwarfness. Now moving ahead to the expression of law of dominance. Okay. So what is the expression of law of dominance? So we talk in this expression of law of dominance, we talk about the ratio. So what ratio we conclude here? Capital T, small t, both were crossed, and what we find in the F1 generation? We find that capital T, small t, and capital T, small t. Okay, so these all are in heterozygous conditions. It means all these plants will be tall. So what's the idea behind it? It means that tallness dominates over the dwarfness in the F1 condition, F1 generation. It means after the first cross, the tallness dominates over the second factor, which is dwarfness. So what will happen in the F2 generation? F2 generation, to calculate that F2 generation, we have to do selfing of F1 generation. So what's the F1 generation? Capital T and small t. Okay, so here is the one plant having capital T and small t gene, and the other plant capital T and small t. So we will cross between these two. So what will the gamete formation? Capital T, small t, capital T, small t. Okay, so now we will cross capital T, small t, capital T. Okay. Capital T, small t, and the last one capital T, small t, small t. Okay, so here is the ratio is 100% tallness, but in the cross after the F2 generation, what's the ratio? The phenotypic ratio is 3:1. This is the phenotypic ratio. Here you can see that capital T, capital T, capital T. So tallness dominates over the recessive one. So here is the phenotypic physical characteristics ratio 3:1. But what about the genotypic ratio? The genotypic ratio will be 1:2:1. Okay, phenotypic ratio, genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio is genetic makeup. So here you can see that these two have the same genetic makeup, capital T, small t, capital T, small t. That's here two, and this one has other one, capital T, homozygous dominant, and the last one homozygous recessive one. So in the law of dominance, what is expressed? That it expresses that in a cross between two in a dissimilar pair of factor, one member dominates over the other one in the F1 generation, but in the F2 generation, the recessive one factor is also seen in one generation, which is 25%. Okay, thank you very much.